Not going live. All right, we're live. Hey, everybody. GameHounds podcast. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick Nicola and Andrew Smith. How are you? We're back and doing our pre-show stuff. Nick is complaining about a really bad Netflix show. Amazingly bad Netflix show.
Just amazing Netflix show. Don't need to bad in there. Like it sounds great.
It's bad. Don't make people
Everyone
bad
should
things.
go watch it.
No, it's apparently horrible.
It was a movie, not a show, so that's good. I didn't waste like several hours of my life. It was just an hour and a half. But it was a good waste because it was bad in ways that I was fascinated by. Just thinking over like, man, you had an interesting idea. The premise was interesting, but just zero style to it, zero follow through. It was just
What's
looking
the name
at
of
it. It's called Unknown Origins. It was a Spanish Netflix produced movie. It's about a serial killer who kills people by recreating superhero origin stories. And it's about a cop and a comics nerd who team up to fight him. And it's like, it's a cool premise. But yeah, zero style. It goes from cringy to pretentious in the span of 5 minutes. Like the hour and a half is like, the first hour is like the Big Bang Theory in its cringiness. The last half hour, it wants to be Unbreakable or Seven, and it just elevates into this pretentious take about the cynicism of Spain and how they don't believe in heroes and how the main bad guy wants to create a genuine superhero that Spain can believe in. It's like, where was all of this fucking politics and nationalism and interesting ideas in the last hour? Yeah, it's
so a 10 out of 10. Go watch it. Nick
just
recommends
surprisingly boring for such a neat, goofy premise.
Yeah,
because like I'm a sucker for any sort of a serial killer that kills people in interesting ways. I kept watching Dexter long after I should have stopped. And actually, after I saw
I did too.
After I saw this, I did realize Dexter is on Netflix, and I was like, "Oh man, those first 4 seasons were really good.
Good.
It was so good,
and then it got so bad so fast."
I don't know. Okay, so
it got so bad. Lumberjack.
I will give you that the third season was pretty bad.
Third season was okay.
All right.
There was 4 seasons. Quality stuff.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch
the fourth season started to get a little shaky, but the fifth season
fourth season. I think the fourth is really good because that's when like he encountered like a true nemesis, and there was like a really great cat and mouse game between the two of them, and then it ends on like that was the Trinity Killer,
right?
Okay.
Oh, right, right. Okay.
That was actually a good one. That was a really good one.
That was my favorite. That's the best.
Okay. Yeah. The sixth one was pretty good because it goes into this whole like religious killing thing.
I enjoyed the sixth one was okay, but I enjoyed it for the serial killer religious aspect of it. I like that kind of stuff. I'm a sucker for that sort of serial killer story.
All right,
it more like Seven.
In an effort to adhere to popular demand to respond, we are not going to have a 3-hour show. Sorry, guys, we're not having a 3-hour show.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm here anymore.
Too much, right? I know.
If you want to do the news first, then
a 5-hour show. But honestly, I don't think most people can actually listen to a 3-hour show. When we started this show, it was supposed, like back in the day, it was supposed to be a 45-minute show.
Times have changed.
Yeah, and then it went to it, and we never got under an hour. And then now it's ballooned, and now it's just it's off the rails. So, sparkling water hounds. I don't have any sparkling water with me right now. I don't have anything. So
this is just normal Walmart water. So not the cotton candy.
Not cotton candy flavored.
No.
All right. So, shall we start the show? Anything that we want to talk about before we get going?
Did you want to do news first to try to shorten it? or
No, I mean, I'm not going to have much to talk about. I'm still I'll talk very little about Crusader Kings. Very little. Just kind of my
okay. I was going to ask you if you had any more cool stories, and so you could go off on that.
Yes, I do have a cool story that happened to me late last night.
Okay.
So I'll share that. But it's not going to be a long story. All right, so just extend the pre-show chaos problem solved. No, we're not extending this any more than we have to. All right, so let's start the regular show. And I need to put up the logo because once I lose the logo, then I lose the logo. Auto share.
Is my fan coming through? I keep kind of hearing stuff on my end.
No, you're good.
No. Okay.
Right,
okay.
We are explicit. Okay.
Are we though? Are we really?
Fuck yeah.
Fuck no, we're not.
Fuck yeah.
We're
a family. Oh my god,
that shit's wild.
Yeah. All right. Demonetized. All right. So don't forget, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, like this episode, make it turn blue, make that little like thumbs up, hit it now, hit it right now, hit that shit like it owes you money. And don't forget our Patreon. Thank you very much. Patreon.com/GameHounds. $1 a month. It's all we ask in order to subsidize this stuff right here. All right. Going live.
And these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 565. We are recording this on Sunday, October 4th. Welcome to October. Sunday, October 4th, 2020. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick Nicola and Andrew Smith as usual. Hi, guys.
How's it going?
Hey.
So what's new with you? Anything topical, interesting? How was your week? Today's the first day that I can have my windows open without
Yes.
without choking. Because we got ourselves 2 more fires. Yay, we're up to 4 million acres burnt in California.
For me, it was
million acres
yesterday, but I was like checking purple air over and over again, and once it hit orange, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm opening everything."
Yeah, we've lowered our standards for air quality.
Oh, it's just unhealthy. Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Do it. Yeah, because the house
We're used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'm young. I can take it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it has been. It's been smoky, and today's actually a pretty good day. But yeah, we got ourselves 2 more fires just north of us, pretty much right where, remember that big fire in Santa Rosa a couple of years ago? You wouldn't remember it. Maybe you would. That was the one where it burnt out like this major city in California called Coffee Park, where my cousin was missing for a while. My cousin was one of the 4 houses in Coffee Park that did not burn down.
That's lucky.
Yeah, it hit her back fence, and then the wind
lucky?
turned and then went deep into Coffee Park because she was right on the edge.
You know what? I need to intercede real quick.
Situation.
Just because Corey Wallace.
Corey Wallace.
At least my state is not on fire. So
Corey Wallace says, for only $6 a month, you can sponsor a kid like Andrew who lives in third world Iowa.
Where is this? I cannot find that. There we go. Yeah, there we are. Yeah.
My state is not on fire. It is a nice 55 degrees.
Nice.
It's good.
Good.
Nice crisp autumn day. Yeah, but anyway, this fire is pretty much right where that fire was before, but they got on it quickly and haven't let it run across the freeway into the main city of Santa Rosa. But it is hitting all of the wineries north of us in Calistoga. So many wineries and so much pot. Because that's where many of the industrial marijuana growers are up there. And the ones that are like, even if our grow doesn't burn down, it's now so polluted with this toxic smoke of houses burning that we can't sell it. We can't safely sell it. So, yeah, California marijuana is about to take a huge industrial hit.
I was thinking of getting more of those chocolate edibles. Maybe I should go do that sooner before
how
the
was
price
that, by the
jacked
way?
up.
How
It was
the
boring.
chocolate edible? It was boring.
Remember when I said like I did it and then I watched a show and it wasn't funnier or anything. It was just this sense of like, oh, time. I feel like 5 minutes have passed, but it's actually been half an hour.
Yeah.
And then
By
it
the
was
way,
like,
your video is horrible right now.
it is?
Oh yeah.
That's just his face. That's very mean. Like,
No, that's not his face. He does not look like he's melting. Oh, we can barely see that looks like two fingers. Yeah. You're way to drag it out. Well done. That is a grade A death scene. Yeah.
Okay.
Top tier acting.
I don't know. My camera is on like 720p.
Right, but it's probably your internet. Maybe somebody maybe you're running a video in the background.
I'm not downloading anything. I did all the uploading stuff before we came on here. I don't know what it could be. Like I have a bunch of tabs open, but that's not unusual.
Yeah. Maybe somebody in your neighborhood's deciding to watch some porn. So how was your week? Anything interesting else going on?
I did. I sold an old PlayStation to GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
One of the interesting things about walking into that store was how little next-gen stuff there was advertised. Like there was no section for PS5 or Series X games. Like
why spend the
nothing.
money? Why spend the money when they know it's going to sell out anyway?
Well, like you could do something about the games. Like I got store credit and I was like, oh, maybe I'll pre-order Demon Souls, but I was looking around and like, well, I don't even know if they're selling that for pre-order. Like, and the weird thing is, the games that we know are coming out for PS5, like Cyberpunk or Valhalla or Watch Dogs Legion, they're selling PS4 and Xbox One versions of that game, but there's no advertisement for a PS5 version.
What was being advertised?
Nothing. Like nothing really.
Okay. Well, maybe it was just that store hasn't put the advertising up.
Yeah, that could be. But it just, it felt weird walking in there and being like, this looks exactly like it did probably a year ago, even though new consoles right around the corner. And there's like you wouldn't know that by walking in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's just like, is it because PlayStation, Xbox played it so close to the chest with like the release dates and stuff, they just don't have the promotional material?
Maybe, but like I imagine they could have put up a stand in the middle of the store that's just like, here's PS5 release games that you can pre-order. And like you just need to take a little box with a picture of Demon Souls or Miles Morales and just fill it in there. Like and say, hey, pre-order today. But they didn't even have that.
Fire? I think this is a new fire that has just cropped up. This might be a new fire.
Where?
Well, we'll keep watching. This is actually time lapse.
I don't know. Like this console release has been so weird that I couldn't even guess why they wouldn't be doing that.
Oh, no, they just moved. They moved the camera. There you go. Here it is right
Yeah.
there.
I don't know why either. It's just a interesting phenomenon that I thought about walking into and out of that store. Of like, if I got
Also-
all of my news from GameStop, I probably wouldn't know that there are new consoles coming out.
Right? Like, I think a while ago, I learned like Black Ops 2 was coming out or Black Ops 3 because of GameStop. Like, I walked in and there was a big banner. Like, it's a thing that happens.
Mhm.
I just don't like. Are they in such bad shape that they can't
Maybe the
really?
manager has just given up. He's like, yeah, well, we're gonna
Yeah.
be fucking under in a month. Who cares? I'm not trying anymore.
That's a possibility. I know they closed down a lot of stores like this year, especially
Yeah.
because of COVID, and they're
Yeah.
also not doing too well. So
So yeah, that's what's going on right here, right now.
this podcast is fire.
It is.
Terrible pun.
Well, people are actually coming up and like taking pictures. What the fuck? What are you
Yeah, like,
thinking?
If the wind changed, they'd be
What
screwed.
are you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, because those kind of fires can burn faster than you can run by a long shot. I've been there. So yeah, that's what's going on here. And that was 2 different sets. It wasn't the same fire. It's 2 different sets.
Oh,
So yeah.
okay.
Like that first one I showed it's on the same mountain, but it's facing the other direction. Lala Dada says, I've got a $25 gift card for GameStop and I don't feel like using it since they suck. What should I do with it?
Give it to
Sell
me.
it
I'll
for
use
20
it.
bucks.
I mean, the gift card, the thing
Actually,
is
you
that
could
using
sell
a
it for
gift
20
card,
bucks.
yes, you could sell it for $20 or yes, they suck, but the $25 gift card, they've already got the $25. You might as well get everything out of it you possibly can. It doesn't cost them anything. The problem is that what can you buy for $25? Because it's the money's already in their hands.
It
Yeah,
depends. I mean,
And as I was looking through their used section, I was like, oh, I got that on PSN at a cheaper sale. I got that on PSN at a cheaper sale. But if you buy a new game, then you kind of pay the same price you would anywhere else, and hey, you'll get a little discount on it.
Yeah, DJ Phil BT Collins says, give it to the youngest person you can find who can hold a controller.
I mean, yeah. I mean, some of the games that they have, like in their bargain bin, are good games that have been out for a while that you just pick up for $5. Like I know when I got Monster Hunter for the console, I went to GameStop and picked it up for like $20 because it wasn't on sale. So it was like $60 on PSN Store. Like,
occasionally you get that, but it's more the
well, used
exception than the
games,
rule.
used old games are where it's at for like GameStop. Like buying them because they're always going to be cheaper than the full price unless they're on sale digital version.
Right. All right. So what games have we been playing, my friends? I am still playing Crusader Kings III. I'm not going to go into huge detail about it other than it is, God, that's a brutal game. God, that's a brutal game. I have been playing it for 3 weeks now, every night. Whenever I've got like some spare time, I jump onto it for a couple of hours. So I put quite a few hours into it. I still struggle with it because there is so much going on. But something I found out that's kind of cool is that it is historically related. Like if you go down to Spain, medieval Spain, it is all related to exactly what happened in history with the Moor conquest of Spain and then the Reconquista of the Spanish Catholics essentially pushing back on the Moors, on the caliphate that was there. And the kings that are down there, the King of Leon, the King of Seville, they're all exactly the same kings that were the kings in 1066 when the Reconquista started. like El Cid is actually a member of the king of not Leon, it's Castile, the king of Castile, who is the king of Castile. One of his courtiers in his court is El Cid. It's very, very cool. But I can no longer play it at night. It's fucking with my sleep and not in a good way. Like other games, I will play and it will get into my sleep and it will be part of my dream because there is no first person. It's just a board and it is all about like reacting and being progressive in your decisions about organization and all of these mechanics that go into it. My dreams are like these like planning fraught dreams. Like there's nothing to see. It's just things like I've got to take care of this, I got to take care of that, and I got to take care of the other. And I wake up and I'm exhausted because my brain has been just trying to work through problems on all these levels instead of actually getting into a story. And Nick asked for a story time.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
I want to know what the cool thing that happened. That's the best part of these games.
Cool thing that happened. There's a bunch of them. By the way, Italian Spartacus is playing the Castile campaign, and it's slow. It's so awesome. It's so awesome. But
I had a friend message me. He says, "You now dream in middle management, Edie."
I dream in middle management. Yes, exactly. It is like being a middle manager. Or worse yet, it is like being a business owner from someone who knows not enough about business, just enough to go into business, but not actually how to run it well. But here's the cool thing that happened. It happened last night at like 1 a.m. So I'm this king and I've got my heir and a spare and another spare. And
that's what you call your kid.
I know. Just
I got an heir and 2 spares, so I'm good.
Yeah,
so I get called. I'm just doing my thing. I get called to war, blah 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 blah, and all this stuff. All my allies are making me do things, and then all of a sudden, while I'm at war over in France, I'm playing in Ireland. While I'm at war supporting one of my allies in France, I get this message from my spy master who says there's been a murder and it's not a regular murder. Like, we don't know what's going on. And I'm like, okay, investigate it. Keep playing. And I get another message saying, yeah, okay, so we called in the court physician and he's reconstructed the body and there's parts missing. And it's like, fuck. This is not good. So I'm like, investigate further. Just keep investigating. So I'm like, continuing to go through my war. And then I get another message saying, there's been another murder and the walls are painted with blood. There is a serial killer running loose in your court. And I'm thinking, it's got to be my former spy master that I fired. She doesn't like me. I'm like going through and I'm like looking at all my vassals going, everybody kind of sort of likes me except for this spy master. She is a spy master, former spy master. She's got a very high level, spycraft. This sounds like something she might do. So I'm kind of having her investigated and essentially using my spy master against her. I'm trying to figure out how to take care of what's going on in my court. Meanwhile, I'm trying to fight a battle over in France. So I'm just keeping going. So then it kills one of my sons, not my heir, but one of my sons. It's like, oh shit. Well, actually that actually benefits me because less sons is better. It looks like this son's going to survive. Means that when I die, all my inheritance isn't going to be partitioned quite so badly. Not bad. So then I go a little bit further and another one of my sons gets murdered.
The other spare?
The other spare gets murdered. And I'm like, shit! all the money, all the prestige. Everybody figure out what's going because it's killing off my sons. And then I get a message that says that that it's a letter left in my quarters written in blood. And the handwriting looks vaguely familiar. Not vaguely, it looks familiar.
Is it the first son?
It looks like my heir, the remaining son and my heir.
Oh no.
So I have a position of like, do I confront him? Do I throw him in jail? Or do I ignore this?
Just let him keep doing it.
Huh?
Let him keep doing it. Raise him like Dexter. We were just talking about that earlier.
Take out the political enemies.
Yeah.
Well, no. I decide. Well, I actually ended up with 2 playthroughs because in my war, by this time I was in another war, and I made a horrible fatal error that had all of I died in battle. And it's like, I can't leave this the way it is. So I confronted my son to say, hey, is this you? And he's like, I did it all for you, Father. Do you love my work? And this is my heir. And this is my guy I'm playing right now is old. He's like, within 2 or 3 years of dying. And this is going to be my heir.
He Joffrey'd it.
He full on, like, not, it wasn't even Dexter, because Dexter, he's fucked up. And this is my heir.
It seems like he's smart. Like, he would have gotten away with it if he hadn't written that letter to you.
Right.
All I'm saying is you didn't refer to your extra kids as spares. That maybe
That's
he
true.
That, yeah.
You taught him this. He learned
the downside is that because I confronted him and I confirmed that it was my son that did it, my heir, that when he ascended to the throne, he gets a ton of things against him. He's considered a kinslayer. He's considered a murderer.
Oh, so you outed him. You told
when
people?
I confront him, he gets those classifications. He gets those notifications.
Oh, okay. Those are like traits for him.
They become like traits, right?
Oh, okay.
And,
okay, I get it.
And it means that he will never get any piety, which is a problem because you need piety. It's another one of the currencies is piety. And because he's got negative piety for being a kinslayer, negative piety for being a murderer, it made him almost impossible to play. And I'm like, well, maybe I can just have him commit suicide and give it to his son. But his son is just this little kid. It's his baby. But so and then in the process I made a horrible fatal mistake and ended up getting myself killed and all of my, it just was I made a bad decision.
You literally recreated the Game of Thrones where the king makes a stupid fatal mistake and dies and gives it to Joffrey.
Right. Yes. Yes. And so I ended up having to go back and back to the original play. And so then I decided not to say anything, just ignore it and keep going. And he ends up killing my wife and says, this is my last murder. Which actually worked out because that meant that as the reigning king, I could go out and find another queen, which gave me more prestige. And she had better stats. So it all ended up working out.
He did it for you. He knew what he was doing. He knew it.
Like, you start off like, one kid was gone. I don't have to worry about succession. It's bad. It's a pretty good idea.
Yep.
My wife died? Cool. Like, this is your fault. You made the serial killer, Edie. Just saying.
Yeah.
And then you lived a crazy Twilight Zone life.
I did.
It's like, can you imagine? And then
And what sucks is that now I'm playing him. The old man dies, and now I'm playing the son, the heir, the
Yeah,
serial
what
killer,
happens
the
then?
murderer.
Because like,
But he doesn't have any of the traits of being a kinslayer because he was never outed. He was never discovered.
okay, but like
It was just
he
a
is the one
youthful
that
indiscretion.
did it. Okay,
Hopefully,
I
no one
thought that
got that hook on him.
because I had heard that some things like someone was telling a story on the podcast where like there was a plot against them, their life as a king, and then when their king died from other means, they took over their son, and then through them, the son was they realized like, oh wait, he's the one that was trying to kill the king because like
He was
when
the
you
one
take
that had
when
the
you take over
faction
that
against him.
yeah, when you take over that character, you then see all the things they were up to and they were able to see the plots that he was part of. So when you took over as your son, you couldn't see those assassination plots that he was
I just took him over like an hour before the show when I started doing my research for the show. So I have not. I mean, the king just died. So I have just gotten him in there and had him attack his brother to take over the land that he lost when in the
Wait, I thought he didn't have a
split.
brother. I thought he killed his brothers.
New wife.
No, his children. His I should say not his brother, his nephews, his brother's children who inherited.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, got to keep going through the family, just trim the branches of that family tree.
Although it makes for a good story because it's like, all right, you have this mystery, and then you have this suspect, and oh no, it's a bait and switch. It's this other person.
Yeah. They every once in a while will throw that shit in there, and it's you in multiple steps, and you have multiple decisions. It's a bit of a choose your own adventure. It doesn't really change much, but it changes the benefits and detriments that you get from it based on the decisions that you make. So yeah, no, it's good. It's good. By the way, that link down there that's right now is for the Castile campaign Iron Man. It's long. You have to kind of sit with it, but it's essentially Italian Spartacus is playing the Castile campaign. He starts out with a history lesson, which is really, really cool about this campaign, about Castile and Leon and Navarra and the Caliphate and the Moors occupying Spain and the Spanish being pushed to the brink and then pushing all the way back over the span of 700 years. This happened. So it's really fascinating. And then him actually making playing Iron Man, which means that there's no saves. There's no going back. You get what you get. And so everything he does is very deliberate, and he talks to the community about how to do it. And there is one moment what actually had me laughing where his wife was not producing children and he tried to seduce her, and then that didn't work. And she's like, I don't like you that way. And he doesn't, there's no kids. And it's becoming a problem because there's no kids. Everybody in the chat room is like, kill her, divorce her, murder her. And it's like, no. And he's like doing the math of like, okay, she's still fertile. I've now pumped up my fertility. So we've got an 80% chance in the next 2 months that she's going to be pregnant. She finally gets pregnant. It's like, yes, she's pregnant. Okay. Wouldn't it be funny if it's a girl? 9 months later, it's a girl. It's like, oh, God damn it. It's like, well, that's all right. No problem. It's a girl. We can deal with that. I mean, if we play, I have no problem playing it as a girl. That's what we got to do. So get what you get. He keeps on going. Then all of a sudden he gets a notification. Your child is sick. And it's like, God. She's sickly. So she might not make it. So yeah, it was one of those moments where it's like, God damn it. Yeah, there's a lot of moments that do not happen all the time, but when they do happen, they're fantastic. All right, that's all I'm going to talk about Crusader Kings. So anybody else? Games, anyone?
Yeah, I played. I started finally getting really into A Plague Tale: Innocence. This is one of the games I bought a while ago, and it's really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of a very story-driven stealth adventure game. It reminds me a lot of The Last of Us 2.
Mhm.
In the general structure of how you go about the world, because it's broken up into these sections that are kind of conversation focused, then sections that are stealth focused. Was Last of Us had a much heavier action aspect to it with gunplay? Plague Tale has none of that really. You get into a few action scenes where you sling rocks at guards, but for the most part, you're trying to dodge them. But it's very story heavy, like a Naughty Dog game, in that characters are always talking. Whether they're talking to themselves or to each other, they're always reacting to the world around them. And so there's always some sort of dialogue and conversation happening. So it's good that the characters are actually really well developed. The story, it kind of takes place in this alternate history France, beset by a sort of more fantastical version of the plague. You play as Amicia de Rune. Your family is killed by the Inquisition, and you go on the run with your little brother who's sick. And a lot of the game is you trying to find a cure for your brother's sickness, which is not the same as the plague, which they call the bite here, because the bite is spread by rats. But not just any rats, like bizarre, supernaturally aggressive rats. These things swarm worse than locusts. Like if you remember the scarabs from the Mummy movies, they're like that. But at the same time, they're terribly afraid of light. And so any sort of fire or like that you have, you can you hold up the torch and they won't come get you. And so that leads to a lot of fun, cool gameplay visuals of you having a torch and walking through a sea of rats, and they break around you. It's creepy but cool looking. And so that leads to a lot of how you go about these puzzles. Is you sort of have to figure out how to maneuver through this environment using light to move the rats, basically. Like in this instance, you take the light off of a guard so that the rats swarm the guard, then you move the light back to kind of create a barrier that they can't pass. So you kind of unlock the path, the rats swarm in, and then you lock that path back. And you do a lot of things like that. But I find I really like the way the game is paced, because the way these stealth sections work is there's an answer to them. Like they're puzzles where there is a specific path through this world. There's a correct path through the world. There's a correct order that you have to go through to distract the guards. There's a correct way that you can distract them. There's always like a single most efficient path through the world. And I like that because it means whenever I get to a dead end, like whenever I'm in a sea of rats and I get to a torch and there's no other light around me, I know that I didn't mess up. I know that the solution is around me. I just have to look for it. So I look around and I realize, oh, there's another torch over there that I can throw something at to ignite it. And then that will give me another path forward. And so all of the stealth sections play out as these elaborate puzzles. Which is fun because they keep adding a lot of mechanics to you. Like as I go further and further into the game, they keep adding new systems in to sort of complicate these stealth sequence. And so it never gets boring, and it never feels like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, where it's like, okay, I got to find another torch and do this. I've got to light this instead. As you get further on, turning off the lights becomes a big factor in it. Whereas before, you're always trying to find the lights in order to get through the rats. As you get later into the game, you're trying to find the proper way to turn off the torches, to smother them, so that the rats swarm that way and you can run in the other direction. And it's a nice twist on the gameplay. And then kind of like The Last of Us, what made me think of that game is there's a lot of scavenging, because as you go through the game, all of those things that you can use, your items that put out torches, that light torches, that distract rats. All of that you craft yourself based on materials that you scavenge from the world. And then those materials you scavenge from the world can also be used to upgrade your equipment, whether it be, oh, you carry more ammo, you craft things faster, you make less sound when you move. And so there's always this interesting dilemma where I'm thinking, do I want to craft this item or do I want to save these items to for an upgrade? It's like, which do I really want an upgrade? Do I really need to use this item here? Like, I could distract the rats, but maybe if I just like throw a rock at the right place, I can get through. And so there's a lot of interesting things like that. But yeah, I really like the story. I really like the characters. Because it's so dialogue heavy, it does a good job fleshing out these characters. I really like Amicia and her relationship with her brother, because her brother is just like this little kid who's sick. Like he's 6 years old, and she is thrust into this life or death fucked up situation when suddenly her family is killed and she has to take care of this sick brother. And the game does a good job of showing her frustration and love at the same time, where a lot of times she is just really frustrated with her brother and the fact that she has to take care of him. Like at a point early on, he reaches for her hand and she kind of slaps it away. When you're trying to follow the aqueduct and he keeps calling it an aqueduct, and she corrects him like, no, Hugo, it's pronounced aqueduct. And there's a frustration in her voice that's like, yeah, I feel for you, because this kid is a fucking like dipshit who just doesn't know the danger he's in. He's just this little idiot. But at the same time, when he goes running off like a little idiot, she goes running after him because she's like, that's my fucking brother and I love him and I've got to take care of him, even though he annoys me. Like, it does a good job capturing that nuance of like hating your family and loving them at the same time. And then as you go through the game, you meet other casts of characters that kind of help you through, and they're all interesting in their own ways. And I say alternate history because there is a supernatural tinge to all of this, both with the rats, with the disease that your brother has, and that creates a really interesting mystery that as you get deeper into the game, that mystery becomes more and more of a central focus of what is this disease actually? How long has it been going on? How does it relate to your family and their history? How does it relate to like the in-game Pope? This version of the Pope like gets involved. And so it grows outward from this family drama into a much larger story of, this disease and its history through the world. It's really cool. And yeah, I'd love if you could find some video of like the rat swarms, because they're really cool. When you get into moments when there's like a literal sea of rats and like they're crawling over each other, almost like water. It's really creepy. And then when you get a torch and you walk just right through the middle of them, the way that they spread before you and break before you is really, really cool, because you can see them, breaking like water against this light. And it's a really cool effect. Yeah, cool story, well done story. Good characters, good stealth mechanics. Like I said, I'm enjoying the puzzle aspect of it. I think it's fun to play. I started playing it, I think maybe last Sunday or Monday or something, and I feel like I'm right near the end. So I've put a lot of time into it in just the past week, and I think I've almost finished it. But it at no point have I felt like it's dragged on or anything. And I'm really enjoying the hell of it. It's a really good game. If you're just looking for like a good, solid, stealth, story-driven game, like this is totally worth your time.
And I don't think it's like a full $60, right?
No, I think it was 40. I bought it on sale and it was like 7, which I almost feel bad about. But yeah, this is one of those games that I feel bad getting on sale because it's so good and I want I want to see these developers go on to do other things. I really respect them now. Whenever they do next, I'm going to be watching them closely.
Yeah, that's that whole mechanic of the rats is actually kind of cool, and it reminds me a little bit, sort of like Alan Wake, in that you have to use light,
Kind of,
but
yeah.
it doesn't seem like it's less a issue of scarcity. It's more figuring out the puzzle.
Yes,
It's
yes.
resource use, which I like better than scarcity.
And yeah, it is a lot of like that. Like I said, even though you're finding materials and crafting things, all of the materials that you have to craft stuff with, like the things to distract rats, to turn on fires and all that, you find those pretty common. It's when there are specific things you can craft that, like, this is a powerful thing of light that will disperse all rats. Like, you can get an ignifier, like, just sets fires. But there's something called like Ludo something that will create a big burst of light and cause all the rats to swarm away. That item costs important resources to use. And so I almost never use it because I want to save those important resources for the upgrades.
When you really need it, yeah.
Yeah, but the ignifier, the thing that just starts fires, you can find materials for that all over. Or there's another material that, like, it will melt the helmet of a guard, because if you throw a rock at a guy's head, you can take him out. And there was actually a cool moment early on in the game where I was trying to stealth through this camp, and I kept getting caught. And I was like, this is really frustrating. This is starting to annoy me now. Like, there's too many guards around here. I can't sneak through. And so finally, I got to a guard, and I'm like, I'm just going to throw this rock at your head and take you out. And the moment I did it, Amicia was like, another girl that I was with started saying, like, oh, wow, like, are you sure about this? Like, you're kind of pissed. And she's like, yeah, I'm not going to run anymore. And it was a moment that I realized, oh, the game wants me to start killing people now. It's not just about running. It wants me to start fighting these guards now. And that's when it starts introducing some light combat, which is, if you use your sling on a guy's head, you can kill them. If they have a helmet on, they can't. And then you might have to use an item that melts the metal, that forces them to take off the helmet, and then you can hit them. But that item, that thing that will melt the helmet, takes an important resource. And so there's always a way around the guards with helmets. Like, you don't have to melt the helmet. There's alternate things you can do. Like in this video, instead of fighting this guard and melting his helmet, she sort of lured him into a sea of rats and he got eaten. And so there's kind of a dynamic thing there, but there's always an answer to it. There's always a solution to get past these things. And I like that. I like that puzzle aspect of it, of knowing that there's a solution.
Yeah. All right. Andrew.
Yeah, so I haven't really been playing much new things. More League of Legends, of course. They came out with a mode that, like, gets rotated in and out called Earth, which is ultra rapid fire. And what it does is it basically gives all champions, they have mana and health, and mana is used up with your abilities. And not all champions have it, but essentially it's your resource. And with Earth, they make it so that that resource doesn't get used. You just have unlimited of it. And then they lower all the cooldowns by 80%. So the whole point of this mode is to just go in. And it's not TFT Fates. This is actually the actual game mode. And it's meant to just be kind of chaotic. And it's a lot of fun. However, it can be incredibly frustrating at times. And then I played more Deep Rock Galactic. I've really gotten into that. The only thing I can say about that I think is kind of funny is the class I chose, because there's 4 classes, is called Driller, and they get a flamethrower, and then you can unlock a cryo launcher, which is essentially a freezing flamethrower, or ice thrower, I guess. And they have satchel charges that have a giant range. And the amount of memes that have been getting sent to me by my friends because of, like, friendly fire incidents is hilarious.
Literally friendly fire.
Yes. It's every format that you can think of. Like, hey, what you got there? a smoothie, and it's them holding like a photoshopped C4 charge. Like that seems to be the big thing, is just getting this one class friendly firing people. It's not just me, it's everyone, but it seems to be a problem, and it's been hilarious. Like the first time I took the ice thrower, which is a great crowd control weapon in the game, I took it on what was essentially the cold map, and that already makes people freeze up, and like there's a meter for it. So I was constantly freezing my teammates and like, we don't want you to bring that anymore. It's a problem. I was just like, no, it's just the map. Fine, I'll switch back to flamethrower. And I did, and then the next mission after that I went back to it, but it was another ice map because I wasn't prepping at all for this. And I kept freezing my friends. And then they started shooting me, so I'd freeze them on purpose.
You know, your role is to just do damage. You know, you just vomit out the damage. Their job is to get out of the way. They know
exactly.
when you get in the situation, they should move.
Exactly, you get it. And it's a flamethrower. It's a cryo launcher. You kind of have to be up front. If you're stepping up front, that's on you. That is your fault. Yes, we're getting attacked in a circle, and yes, I may be just spinning around holding the trigger, but it's still on you to get out of the way.
Flamethrowers are not known for their accuracy.
But yes, I am still loving this game. When it's on sale, I think it was like $20, $25 for full price.
Mhm.
It's early I think it just came out of early access, but it's a lot of fun. If you're on, it should be coming to console. It's already on Xbox on their early access program, and it's definitely on Steam, where I picked it up.
Cool.
So yeah, go buy it. It's fun if you have friends. If you don't, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything.
Where are your friends?
Yes.
All right. So, shall we hit the news?
Yeah.
All right. Let's hit the news. Maybe. Yeah. Let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news. The news used in commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie, Gamer Edie, Andrew Smith, and Nick DiNicola. And our first item is.
I don't even know if I want to say anything now. Like,
Sorry.
I'm just hurt again with the hurt.
I did that for almost a decade. It's really hard. It's a really, really hard habit to break.
Fair enough. I'll let it pass again. But
Okay.
Just jumping back into like Ubisoft news, they did apparently an internal survey with 14,000 employees, and horrifying statistics. It came out that 25% had either witnessed or experienced workplace misconduct, which is an absurd number. So
Yeah, a whole fourth of your company.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at quick math, but like upwards of 3,000 people?
Yeah. That's a lot.
3,000, 5,000.
14,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
3,500, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and then 1 out of 5 said they did not feel safe or respected in the workplace.
Wow.
That's way more
Wow.
concerning. 20% of your company feels unsafe
Yeah.
or disrespected. That is a problem. Because
I
mean, when they say 25% of employees have either seen or been part of misconduct, that's bad. But if one person is harassed or assaulted and there are 10 people around them, that kind of magnifies that number. When you have 20% of your company feeling either unsafe or disrespected, then that says this is way pervasive. It's not just one person being witnessed by 10 people who all feel fine, but they witnessed it. It means that this is an active problem. It is going far, far, far deeper than these department heads and these C-suite guys that are getting fired. This is bad. Wow, I did not know that second number. I only heard about the first one. Ooh, that's scary.
Yeah, it's more on the fire, and of course I'm not gonna butcher his name, but the CEO said that he is going.
Guillermo?
There
Yves,
you
you
go.
can call him Yves or
Yves.
Leaves. Just call him Leaves.
Yves Guillemot. Yves Guillemot.
Obviously he's promised to work on this and to fix the culture. They've put in anonymous tip line and like ways to report misconduct and harassment.
Yeah,
That's a huge number, though.
it is
Yeah,
a
that is.
massive, massive number. That what is it? Okay, 20% of 14,000, which would be like 2,800 people. You said 3,500 people have either been part of it, been harassed, or witnessed it, but 2,800 of them actually feel unsafe or disrespected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's entire studios worth.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a
Mhm,
couple different
mhm.
studios worth.
and I'm wondering if it breaks out to pockets like that, where you have single studios that just have a lot of people who are like, our leads suck, our supervisors suck.
Yeah, I mean, you every time you have a big company, you will have a department. Some departments are better to work for than others. It's just the nature of the business. Because it's the nature of human beings. Some managers are really great, some are not quite so great. Some are even bad. It happens all the time. But to have that many means that this is not just one department or one studio. This is all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Did it say any? Do you know about who was
Guillemot.
surveyed? Like, it said 14,000 people, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
it's the Ubisoft just like
Like,
employees.
does that
It was a
include?
company-wide survey.
Okay, so does that include all like the overseas development studios, like the whole Ubisoft has umbrella, or is it just like the North American offices or the other offices or
I think it
anything
was
like that?
company-wide. I think it was
Okay.
14,000 people has to be Toronto and Montreal
Okay.
and France and everywhere else.
Okay.
And it was done by a third party. Like they hired someone to come in and do the survey and get the
That's
numbers,
good.
and that was shipped directly.
That usually is better, more trustworthy.
Shit. You will not
And all,
see me working for Ubisoft anytime
and all this time,
I mean-
Ubisoft was one of the better companies. Turns out,
Give them like 3 years, Edie. They may have changed the culture significantly. At the very least, hopefully they're not as bold.
Well, at least it seemingly, and I say this seemingly because I am a cynic, at least seemingly they are doing what they can to rectify this as best as they can. Way better than any other company that has seen these kind of charges come at them.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Riot didn't do
like-
shit.
yeah, and you've
They
seen
paid some
Ubisoft
people
fire
off.
a lot of people, or lay them off, or they left.
Yep.
No.
Yep. All right. So next item.
I know I had a bunch, but I need to find. Okay, this is just a small one while I read other things. Just in time for the launch of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, Apex Legends will be getting crossplay between PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Which
Really?
is a cool, like very good progress, but I thought it was interesting that it specifically mentioned PS4 and Xbox One and PC and didn't mention PS5 or Xbox Series X.
I'd hope it's the same thing. Like, I hope that jump isn't an issue. And honestly, like I'm all for crossplay, and it seems like shooters have become more and more the thing that is getting crossplay. But I'm not.
Mhm.
That's always been dicey because of like mouse and keyboard and
Yeah, well, the crossplay matchmaking will keep console and PC players separate unless you say you have to like opt in to cross. If you're a console
Yeah.
player, you have to opt in to matching with PC players. So it's not going to do that automatically. But it will
Okay.
automatically crossplay between PlayStation and Xbox.
Overall, I'm happy with it. I want that more baked into just games in general. Like if Monster Hunter,
Oh, yeah.
for instance,
Yeah.
Warframe had crossplay, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. It should be in everything.
I'm really hoping that in the next generation that they embrace that more. Obviously, Microsoft will be embracing crossplay PC to Xbox Series X and S, but I would really like there to finally be that moment when PlayStation and Xbox can get along.
I mean, it's
Okay,
I'm hoping
mainly on
that this might be the generation that it happens.
It's mainly on Sony's end. Like they're the holdout in all of this.
It's worth mentioning because that is a good point. About Xbox and PC kind of already being crossplay, but I've learned something through Deep Rock Galactic that if you buy Deep Rock Galactic on the Windows Store, it's not crossplay with Steam. So that is
Interesting.
worth like paying attention to.
Interesting.
So it's not crossplay with Steam, but is it still crossplay with? Wait, does Deep
Yeah,
Rock Galactic
yeah.
have crossplay in it at all?
Yeah, it does with the Xbox version and PC from the Windows Store, but not with Steam.
So
or anywhere else that you might buy it.
Why
so
does
that
this
means-
sound familiar? Because I think this is something
So
that
Steam
I've
players
seen
can only play
before.
with Steam players.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
I want to say that's just tickling the back of my head that's not the only game that has that issue. That may be also with Crusader Kings. I
Which-
want to say that I've heard this before. This isn't the first time I've heard that concept of if you bought it on Steam, it's crossplay. There is no crossplay, but if you bought it at the Microsoft store, there is.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a Microsoft thing or a Valve thing.
I think it's a Microsoft thing.
I think it's a Microsoft thing to encourage you to purchase it through the Microsoft store because you can get that extra feature. The crossplay becomes a feature of purchasing through them rather than Steam.
Okay,
It
apparently-
says we talked about this last week too. I don't
we did.
remember.
I don't remember this either, so thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And that kind of brings up an interesting point that I hadn't really thought about is in this console war, and I am air quoting that big time because I don't believe in such thing as a console war. But, in this next generation, the state that we're at right now, where there is a question of who's going to get, and I'm air quoting again, superiority, PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, if there's going to be a lot of people that are jumping from one to the other. One of the reasons why Sony has been able to, in the PlayStation 4 generation, say, fuck off, we don't want crossplay, and be that company that's holding it back, is because there is so much more market penetration with the PlayStation 4 versus the Xbox One. If Sony doesn't win, air quote again, this generation, do you think that might actually change, or whether Sony wins this generation or not? Do you think that they may lessen? Like, obviously, if they win for the PlayStation 5, then they're not going to change their tune. But if Xbox actually starts to rip users away from PlayStation 5, does that mean that do you think that Sony will be more open to crossplay because they have everything, nothing to lose, a lot less to lose at this point?
Yeah,
they don't.
I hope in general,
they don't have the luxury of being dicks.
I hope in general they're just not dicks about this. Like I
They're
think
gonna be dicks about
crossplay.
it. That's already proven. It's the question is, are we going to have enough of a hook on them to keep them from being dicks in this generation?
I have a friend who is actively rooting against Sony, not because he doesn't like them or anything, but just because he's sick of them buying exclusives and all of their very dickish, early aughts, 90s-esque console war attitude toward this whole thing. And he's like, this is fucking bullshit. All of this is bullshit. I hope that the PlayStation sells like shit just so that Sony is forced to not be assholes.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with your friend.
Yeah.
I don't like. I do think the crossplay is a little kind of. I mean, it's been clear that it's easy. Like it
Yeah.
can be done.
Oh, it's literally a switch. We have been all of the denials that it's a matter of just flipping a switch have been completely disproved by somebody flipping the switch by mistake.
Yeah. But I'm not against exclusives. I'm really not. I
No,
think
well,
that
that's the
gives a
thing.
chance.
There's a difference between exclusives and being a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if
And
Sony
Sony
wants to
does
make
tend
their
to be
own
a dick.
games, then yeah, make that exclusive to PlayStation, certainly. But don't give Activision or whoever did the Avengers like extra money to make Spider-Man an exclusive character. It's like, yeah, it's kind of a dick move. Spider-Man's super popular, and you pay to get him. Just a dick move. Also, I do think so. They paid a lot to make Spider-Man exclusive to PlayStation. That character is not even out until next March. They were promoting that as a reason to buy on PlayStation when it wouldn't even be out for 6 months.
Right.
They were promoting something 6 months later as a reason to buy the game now. And I'm thinking, we don't even know if Avengers is going to have a player base 6 months from now.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm irrationally annoyed by that. But like, God damn it, 6 months? Like,
So
but
Sony's really
to
protective.
retreat for just a moment, that crossplay for Apex Legends is going to be part of the aftermarket expansion, which launches on October 6th.
And related news, just because that crossplay talk.
But wait, not
Recent-
expansion, update. It's not paid. It's free. It's an event. But yeah, October 6th. Anyway, sorry.
No. Dead by Daylight recently became crossplay as well. And that's a good example of a game that, regardless of if you're on console or PC, I don't think you really lose a lot in the terms of like skill.
Mhm.
Yeah, third-person games, I think, are much easier to do that with.
Yeah, and that's a game that like the player base being connected is huge. Finding queue times, all of that, that's good. They recently announced that they are closer than ever for having cross progress, though, which means that if you're on PlayStation, you'll be able to just take your account and then play on PC.
Yeah.
And if you're still into Dead by Daylight, it's still really popular. Look forward to that if you've been wanting to make the switch. Like I played on PS4 a lot, but I own it on PC too, and I have friends who play it on there now. And I would like that content because it makes it really hard to switch over when I've put so much time like into it. So it's going to be good to move over like that.
So that leads into another story. Another thing about Sony just not saying anything, because all the news that comes out about the new console is kind of bad news. So the developer of Yakuza Like a Dragon, it's a game that has like a month or two exclusive window to Xbox, but it will, when it comes out on PlayStation 4, they have said that your PlayStation 4 save cannot be transferred to the PS5 version of the game. So if you buy Yakuza Like a Dragon and you start playing it on PS4, that save won't transfer. So if you then start playing it on PS5, you'll have to start over again. And
That would
then
suck.
just later, the Codemasters, the developer of Dirt 5, has said the same thing. Your save cannot carry over. Was it currently? Codemasters wrote, currently on Xbox, all progress can be carried over between generations. On PlayStation, your playground's creations can be carried over, but other game progress, career, currency, saved liveries cannot.
Oh.
I wonder what the limitation is on that. Is that just Xbox having like a better architecture for generation swapping?
Probably.
Yeah.
But
So, I
then
mean,
that
they-
That's got
also,
to be the reason, because there's no way that they would be doing this out of choice. It's not a
But then-
conscious decision. Nobody
think
would decide
that
this.
raises a lot of strange questions about what exactly the compatibility is like. Because
Mhm.
if I get Yakuza Like a Dragon for PS4, and I then put that disc into a PlayStation 5 and try to play it without upgrading it, will that save still work? Or if I put that disc in a PS5, will it automatically upgrade to the PS5 version? Basically, can I play the old version
Can
of
you
the game
opt out?
on a PS4? Yeah,
Yeah, opting out of the upgrade. That's a
opting
good
out of the
question.
upgrade. And so that's like with a lot of things. Like, I think The Witcher 3 is a good example. Because what's the developer? CD Projekt has said they will have a PS5 version of The Witcher. I played that game for 30 hours and didn't get close to beating it, and I've always thought of going back to it.
30
If
hours. Those are rookie numbers.
That's why I said I didn't get close to beating it. If I take that game, that disc, and I put it in a PS5, can I transfer my PS4 save to the new console and start playing it just as it is, with whatever backwards compatibility support the PS5 offers? Or then what happens if I then put it in a PS5, download whatever graphical update they have to improve the game? Does that break compatibility with the save? Does it not? Is it only for these games but not all games? And I guess this gets into the issue of backwards compatibility that Sony has just said jack shit about, which is, what exactly does that compatibility offer?
Well, I think
Compatibility.
Yes.
they're doing exactly what I think Xbox did with Xbox 360 games, where they kept batching them in and like making them cross-compatible, but they have not perfected that system like Xbox has. Xbox has had years, this entire generation, to perfect that cross-play system where they're just getting it on
Yep. Hey, Nick, I'm going to ask
Yeah.
you a favor.
Yeah.
Can you leave the stream and come back?
Okay.
Your camera is getting worse.
Is it still
and
bad?
worse. Oh, it has been bad the entire time, but now it's actually getting worse. Where we can't see your neck. You're just pixels at this point. You're just a big beige lump at the moment. Yeah, I can't see fingers. It's just
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can leave. Like I said, I
Leave.
can't. I don't see
Get the
anything
fuck
on this
out.
end.
Go. We don't like you anymore.
And he never returned.
All right, so I might as well hit my first item. So there has been a big arrest this week of a multinational video piracy conspiracy. Believe it or not, yes. Something called Team Executor, spelled Xequter. So Team Executor has been is facing multiple felony charges now. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Washington announced on Friday, 3 people have been indicted. Guy named Max Luarn, another guy named Wan Ying Chen, and a guy named Gary Bowser. They have all been indicted for 11 felonies, including wire fraud, trafficking in circumventing devices, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. So the Team Executor, if you're unfamiliar, they are pirates. They've been releasing homebrew software for video game systems like the Nintendo Switch and the 3DS. There's more than a dozen members around the world. These guys are obviously, up there. The 3 main bad hombres. The indictment alleges that the group, quote unquote, at times cloaked its illegal activity with the purported desire to support gaming enthusiasts who wanted to design their own games. Oh, much better, Nick.
Okay, good.
At times cloaked its illegal activity with purported desire to support gaming enthusiasts who wanted to design their own video games for non-commercial use. However, the overwhelming demand and use for the enterprise's devices was to play pirated video games. So these charges are still allegations. Obviously, the U.S. Attorney's Office is pointing that out. These are just charges. Nothing's been proved in court yet. However, the case was being investigated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, and DHS, Department of Homeland Security. And Luarn and Bowser were both arrested abroad last month, and they're trying to get Luarn's extradition to stand trial. Bowser appeared in federal court in New Jersey on Friday. So 3 members of this fairly well known and big enough to get the attention of the FBI and the DHS have been arrested, and the ban hammer is coming down hard from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington State. So yeah, if you're a homebrew person and you were using them, I would recommend you stop.
I don't know where to land on, it's kind of they were doing something illegal, so they got caught. It's kind of that sucks, but I don't necessarily I don't know how much damage they were doing to the market of games and the piracy itself. I've always been a bit wish-washy when it comes to piracy. It sucks that the companies aren't getting paid. The developers aren't getting that money. But at the same time, I don't know if it's such a big issue that it's worth necessarily
I remember seeing, and this was many years ago, surveys being done, research studies being done on the amount of money that small developers lose due to piracy. And I remember, wasn't there, I want to say it had to do, what was the one that Maxis did, the game about evolution, Nick? It was highly hyped, and then it was not that great.
Not Life, Spore.
The amount of piracy on Spore was mind-blowing, and I remember that becoming an issue, that they started to do estimates on how much money they were losing due to pirates and the pirating of and something like EA and Maxis. They can absorb that kind of loss, but when you talk about a small developer, and if they're losing significant portions of their income due to piracy, or there are significant amounts of their game being out there that they didn't get paid for, that's a real problem. When you have to factor in piracy as part of your loss, then there's a problem. It's kind of like if you opened a store that sold widgets and you actually had to factor in a significant amount of loss due to shoplifting, that would be a problem. And no one would say, yeah, I'm not quite so sure how I feel about shoplifting. Shoplifting is bad. And piracy is shoplifting of a digital age.
Like I said, I feel bad for developers, but I feel less bad for publishers, because I know publishers can be garbage.
Right.
2K, for instance.
Right.
They can be utterly terrible. And so, piracy's bad.
Right. But it would be one thing if the pirates actually cared about what they were doing and why they were doing it. It's kind of like the looting that happened when they're targeting looting at multinational corporations that have been taking advantage of them. Yeah, all right, I see where they're going. It's, for a purpose, and I get that this is actually, there's a political angle to it. When you've got looting of mom and pop grocery stores, that's not anything to do with a statement. There's no political aspect of that. It is pure theft of people who can least afford to handle that kind of theft.
If you're gonna
The question-
loot something, don't loot a bodega. Loot a Wells Fargo.
The question also becomes: were those people who pirated it going to buy it regardless? Like, if they didn't have that option, would they buy it?
They
Probably
have
not.
factored. I'm sorry if I'm going to plead ignorance here because I haven't gone into looking at it, which I might just do this week. Is that is when you have studies that are being done on the effect of piracy on video game publishers. Yeah, that has to be part of the study of. I mean, that's got to be part of it. You can't just look at the raw numbers and go, yeah, okay, here's how many games were pirated. It cost this much. You've got to factor in how many of those games would have been purchased legitimately had they not been available by piracy. It's with the margin of error. That's got to be that like a margin of error. You've got to actually account for that.
And I want to make a point. Like, I'm not defending piracy. Like, I don't pirate stuff. I buy stuff that I like and that I want to support those developers, especially small developers. But at the same time, for the people who do it, like, I don't usually have ill will toward them. But if they get in trouble, I don't care. That's on you. Like, that's like these people who got arrested.
Right.
They chose to do that.
Right.
Like, they knew it was illegal. I'm not going to be defending them and saying, well, it's a victimless crime, because it's not.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of wish-washy.
But anyway, regardless, these guys nailed. Let's see. We'll also have to see how this trial turns out. But, when they're talking about international extradition and, people are already up on 11 felonies, wire fraud, trafficking, conspiracy to commit money laundering. Those are big felonies. And
Oh, yeah, that's heavy prison time.
yeah, that's, what was it? Federal pound me in the ass prison time. So yeah, Nick, your video is bad again. It was good for a second and then it's bad again. All right. Well, it is what it is today. Your internet's going to be dickish.
At a certain point, Coy Wallace said the stream's good on his side.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just something about.
It's kind
how
of funny
someone
because
views the
Andrews is fine on my side.
I see the occasional flicker where it looks like it buffers or goes black real quick, and you get a little loading screen. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Corey, does Nick's it's not just the stream, it does Nick's video look okay?
It's bad.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because if you were both bad to me, then it'd be like, oh, that's me. But it's just you that's bad. Andrew's stream is gorgeous. So.
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm not doing anything else with the internet, and I don't have like.
It is what it is.
I guess
some days the internet's good, some days the internet's bad.
I'll just be a blob. That's all.
Yep.
As long as
may
you
be
can hear me, like if I'm coming through auditorially to
your audio's fine.
Okay, that's fine. That's what matters most.
Right, exactly. So, anybody else got a next item?
Sure.
Yes. Okay. You want to go?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Xbox Game Pass. Like, they've been shoring up their catalog a lot lately, and with Bethesda. But apparently, they've also teamed up with EA Play. So now, which was EA
yeah, I
Origins.
saw that.
So the whole catalog of 60 plus games that EA Play has had for their streaming service is just going to get baked into Xbox Ultimate Game Pass.
That Game Pass is looking real good now.
It is for people
really good.
For people who only play one game, that's not going to be useful. But for people
like us,
yeah, you're going to get brand new games. You're going to get
who need to play all the games and don't want to have to run out and spend $60, another $60, another $60, especially at Christmas time. This is getting good. I am every day that I go on, am getting less disappointed that I didn't get a PS5 and that I did get an Xbox One or Xbox Series X.
I honestly think unless you really want to play Miles Morales or Demon's Souls, you don't need to get a PlayStation 5.
Mm-mm. No, and I don't need to play or want to play either one of those. So Xbox One is starting. I'm thinking I may have saved myself $500.
Good, good.
See,
I mean,
still have.
if a PlayStation 4 comes up,
Well,
I will
okay.
buy one, but I am
I will-
not heartbroken. Like literally, I was butt hurt. I'm not gonna lie, butt hurt that you got one that I didn't. It's stuck in my craw for a good several days afterwards.
Other notices, and nothing else has come up about.
Yeah, I
Priscilla's-
was super bitter for a little while, and then as soon as I got the Xbox One, it felt better. And as I'm going on, I started to feel better and better and better. And I'm thinking, am I just trying to make myself feel better that I didn't get a PlayStation 4? And it's like, is that the butt hurt talking? And it's like, no, it's not. It's actually, I think now I may be I'm not as upset about leaving the PlayStation behind.
Well, they're
Because,
getting the whole game collection. Like, that isn't bad either.
Yeah, well, so the things about the console is Xbox has better services. PlayStation has the better exclusive games. Like, their first-party games are genuinely better. And so, if you want those first-party games, then you can get that console. But if you don't want those first-party games specifically, then you don't need to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. If you want to play everything, get an Xbox. If you want to play a couple big things, get the PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'm
just gonna leave that up there.
Damn it.
Let me read this out so that the chat room or the podcast can actually have it on there as well. Creation Chaos writes in the chat room, funny story, AC. I have a group of my friends who've named me Big Sexy.
Yes, okay. So he was referring to me. I thought he was making fun of Nick's connection.
Uh-huh.
But quick story, it all started because I'm a larger person and I was getting picked up by my friends one day to hang out. And as the driver was rolling up, he wanted to shout, "Hey there, sexy," and then, "Hey there, big fella," and it came out, "Hey there, big sexy," and then it stuck. And so for years
I think
now,
you should embrace it. You know, you are embarrassed of being called Big Sexy. You really should embrace that. Just wrap your big sexy arms around that and just hug
Maybe
it.
you put our names on the screen.
That's right.
Put
That's
that
right.
for him.
That's right.
if I'm glad I don't have light on me right now because
You're red?
Yeah, probably.
If I could change your name right now, if I could actually change, can I change you?
Yes, that's right. We do that, don't we?
It's true. You were free. Yeah. Refused. I'm shook now.
Oh.
I have just changed his name on the screen to Big Sexy.
Damn it. All right. Anyways, moving on. EA did some things with Xbox. Yes, the Game Pass looks like it's getting pretty damn good. Like they're trying to put all of the streaming services together.
Yep.
And well, at least it feels like EA has given up being their own thing and is like, fine, everyone else can take our games too.
Yeah,
they really have.
Because they're putting out a lot of things on Steam as well.
Well, so it's a little bit like an election. When you think about this, it's very similar to an election that people want to vote for or want to put their support behind the person they think is going to win. And as soon as there is an early front runner or somebody makes a big move, then there is like the pile on. Same thing with the World Series. Everybody becomes a fan of whoever looks like is going to win the World Series. You know, right about game, right in the playoffs. That's when usually 70% of the fans of any particular team usually show up and go, "Oh, I've been a fan for years." No, you haven't. No.
Well, like with the Xbox One and the PS4, that wasn't a matter of switching because you're a fair weather fan and PlayStation looked better. It was just the disaster that was Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the DRM to make it always online, the people who were in charge being like, just deal with it. It's the future, bro.
Mhm. That
It was
that I think was a thing that hurt them the most. I think that it was a combination of, well, if I was going to give it value, I'd say it was 30% always online, 70% deal with it, bro. If you don't like it, go play the last generation. Go
Yeah.
fuck off, pound sand. That
they're
whole
not-
attitude.
they're not doing that this time, but there
Mhm.
has been the delayed like news about anything, but they both did that, so it's kind of like PlayStation isn't looking good because it's not telling people what it's offering.
Right.
And in related news, if leaks are to be like true, they're only gonna have 660 gigabytes of free storage space on their like
That's what I
advanced
heard.
SSD.
That's what I heard, that the advanced SSD is the 800 and was it 800 and some odd gigabytes is only actually going to
25.
be 825 gigabytes, actually going to be just a little over 600 gigabytes usable download space,
Yeah,
which
Doesn't mean-
is
so
just like
875, it was never going to be 875 because operating system
825,
always takes
825,
it always
825.
operating system always takes something, but that's also a
Right,
lot.
but exactly.
gigs
That's
is a
the
lot.
point. 200 gigs for the operating system.
and that I mean, if their whole selling point is that their SSD has built-in hardware to make it faster, it's supposed to be cutting edge. If you have no space on it, it's worthless, especially with game sizes lately. Like that is a legitimate problem.
Right.
Whereas, Xbox is like, hey, you don't want a game? Delete it. It's going to be there like on the Game Pass whenever you want it.
Right.
Well, you still have to download it from Game Pass.
Fair. And I wonder how that'll work. I wonder if they're just going to download the whole game to your system. If it's just like a catalog
Yeah.
of like pick and choose.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay.
I mean, in
Yeah,
theory, once what's it called? xCloud. Once they like release that to the larger public, I think in theory, you should be able to stream any Game Pass game that supports it, so you won't actually have to download it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's
I think
supported on a game-by-game basis.
if you're going to enjoy a game, streaming it is the worst possible way to do that.
Yeah.
In
Depends
my
on the
opinion,
game.
just 'cause I like having tried
Wait,
PS Now.
whoa. Hold on a second. I just saw something.
Yeah. Are you talking about the Crusaders 3?
That's
Yeah.
Crusader Kings.
Well, Crusader Kings III is on Game Pass,
Oh,
but it's on
and for
PC
PC.
Game Pass. Yes,
Got it.
it's not on
Got it.
Xbox.
Which you
Got
get both. Like if
It's
you
on
buy
it's
one,
on
you
Game
get both.
Pass Ultimate, which is both. But like that's a situation where I have Game Pass Ultimate and this is on Game Pass Ultimate, but you can only play it if you have a PC.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah, I
I
was
mean
thinking
that's
that was available for Xbox One. It's like, I don't see. I guess you could play that on Xbox One, but it'd be really difficult.
if it was,
Then you
I
can
might
play
think of-
Sims on it. You can play
I might
Sims
think
on
of
an
doing
Xbox.
that because
so-
actually, before we did the show, I looked up a minimum specs for Crusader Kings 3. My computer does not pass it.
you
Cannot
guys
run
should
it.
invest in new computers. Just saying.
yeah,
I
well,
would-
your computer is really for work. It's not for play.
Yeah, I used to have one, but then the hard drive crashed and everything was out of date. But I would rather buy a console personally.
Yeah.
But
So yeah. Anyway, that makes Game Pass a lot more sexy. Speaking of sexy,
Yeah, I mean, because it's gonna have Mass Effect, Battlefield, like just all of that you don't have to rebuy now that you bought on PlayStation.
it may very well be that I don't buy another game. If it's delivering what it says it's going to deliver, if it's going to, if it's writing checks, if it manages to cash the checks on its body that its mouth just wrote, I probably won't be buying another game for a really long time.
EA Play does not include new EA games.
No, but it's
EA
still
Play is like their archive of
Right.
a lot of old games. Like I think it includes Battlefield 5, but not Battlefield. No, it would include Battlefield 1, but not Battlefield 5.
Right.
So there's still a lot of good games. Just if you want to play some of the hot new things,
There's never going to be a moment when I go, I feel like playing something different. Let's see what the store has. That's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah, I mean, with Game Pass, yeah, you could totally get everything. I mean, I'm excited for you because then you would actually play the Outer Wilds.
I do. I'm sorry. I do want to play it.
I know.
I think
It's on Game Pass. It was originally
that's why
on
Obsidian,
Game Pass.
right?
No, that's Outer Worlds.
I'm never going to
And
get
that's
that right.
one of the biggest problems why I haven't bought it, because I know there's two, and I'm never really quite sure which one I want to get.
I think you'd love Outer Worlds.
I want to play Outer Worlds, and honestly, whenever I get the Xbox and Game Pass, I will probably download it because I know it is on Game Pass. But Outer Wilds is the best game of last year, hands down, and one of my favorite games because it's just that good.
I played Outer Worlds briefly, and it is just essentially Fallout, but with in space. Like, not the setting, but just kind of the game is built like a Fallout because it's made by Obsidian, who made Fallout. And it is, in my opinion, better than Fallout 4.
I heard a lot of people didn't like Fallout 4.
I had issues with it, primarily with just kind of the story. Like, as always, Bethesda does exploration super well, but their story kind of suffers. And their choices made me upset.
So any other items? Next item?
Yes, I have a couple good ones. Google released a lot of their new gadgets, one of which is a new Chromecast. What was the name specifically? I think it's named the Chromecast with Google TV. That's the official name for it. It does not actually support Stadia. So there seem to be a couple reasons for this. The Verge went into a lot of detail about this because the people at The Verge were able to get Stadia running on the new Chromecast by sideloading it. So it is possible to get it running there, but it's not supported. And Google has said that the new Chromecast with Google TV will support Stadia sometime in the first half of 2021. So it seems the issue here seems to be that the original Chromecast Ultra that comes with Stadia, that you can get when you buy the Stadia starter pack, it's just a streaming device. Like it doesn't have any UI interface or like operating system of its own. It just takes things from your computer or device and puts it on the TV. The new Chromecast with Google TV actually does have its own UI and its own operating system because it gives you an interface that you can use to access other things. And it seems to be like that interface and that layer of UI causes some sort of issue with Stadia that would require Google to have to put in some sort of resources to make it supported. It's unclear exactly what it is, but that's the fact that it's not supported natively, right? That's the fact that it's not supported out of the box, that there's some sort of additional work that has to go in to supporting Stadia on this new Chromecast. But it's also just a little wild that Stadia is not supported on the new Chromecast, that they didn't put that work into it to begin with, that it is something that they're like, we'll do it next year.
Right.
Well,
it wasn't a priority.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just a matter of like, hey, we want to release this in a certain time window, and we can't get this work done. So
I'm sure, but also I think it speaks volumes to just how little they care about Stadia.
Yeah, I think they gave up. I think that
they
put all the money in.
Ago.
Yeah, they put all the money in. They released it. Everybody's like, "What the fuck? This is terrible." And they were like, "Okay, never mind." They're Google Plusing it.
Or Google Glasses.
That was
Google
hangouting
Glassing it. They're Google Glassing it, where all of a sudden they have all the glass holes, and everybody started to turn on the glass holes, and they're like, you know what, not worth it. Fuck it, look on.
I mean,
Moving
the
on.
thing is, all they're doing is living up to what everyone was worried about, right?
Mhm.
Everyone was like, yeah, Google has a habit
That it
of
wasn't going to be
dropping
supported.
things after 6 months if it doesn't take off, and it's exactly what they're doing. They're doing exactly what everyone was worried about.
And I think that this is problematic for Google as a company, because how can I ever trust them? Not
Yeah.
Not
It
on
means-
any device that they put out, not on any service that they have, not on any, anything. How can I ever trust that they won't just like, oh, everybody doesn't love me? Well, fuck you. I'm
Yeah,
taking my toys and I'm
especially
going
any
on.
new thing. Like, I assume Gmail will probably be around for a while. I think they're going to keep supporting that. But any new type of service or device that they create,
If it doesn't take off instantly, then
Yeah.
it's gone. Yeah.
yeah. Basically, if you don't be an early adopter for any Google product.
Anything Google, nope.
Yeah.
That's why Google
'cause,
TV and Chromecast, no, I am not doing that. Apple, I know, is going to support Apple TV. Is it a superior product? I don't know, but I know it's going to be there in
I don't
5
give a
years.
shit
I
about
know
Apple TV,
that I'm going to
but
turn it
I
on and it's
know
going to work.
They're going to. They're going to keep sinking money into that no matter how long it
No
takes.
matter how we're going to make this, we're going to do it. Exactly, and that's what I want. I do not want to spend money on something and have it just like, fuck you. We're not going to do this anymore. Yeah. There's something to be said for reliability.
Speaking of this, the Amazon Luna,
Uh-huh.
that is not looking great in my opinion, and I think it's going to be one of those things that they're going to bring up and they're going to like release, and then 6 months later be like, this did not work out.
Right.
No one wanted this.
But I will say that's fine because they're not really hyping it at all. They're not getting on a stage at E3 announcing Luna. They're not having like streaming press conferences about Luna.
Right.
They're just like, yeah, we're going to try this out. That's it.
I don't. I don't know what is Amazon Luna. I should know, but I don't.
Game streaming service.
It is?
Yeah.
I talked about it last week.
And you were pretty much spot on. Everyone was
Nobody
agreeing
remembers anything about last week. Clearly.
Yeah. Now I remember. I remember the trailer. Now that I see the trailer, yeah, I remember this. Okay, all right.
We all checked out last week. As soon as the show was over, we just wiped it from our mind.
Just poured up.
I am mentally not here, so
just reformatted the hard drive. Right there.
But it was. People are saying it's going to be like the cable of game streaming, where like Nick was saying, you're going to buy packages to get access to games, and I just do not think that is a good model, especially with like Xbox Game Pass. Like,
everybody wants an all-in-one. We do not want to. We've already done that, and it does not work. I mean, one of the reasons why Apple, like Amazon Prime, yeah,
that is Game Pass,
right?
I think there's a way it can work, and I think the way they're going about it is better than Stadia.
Well, that does not say much. Really,
it's not a high bar.
No, but at least someone learned their lesson because Google.
They haven't fucked up yet, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So at least they're ahead of the curve. Something else about other new devices that somebody brought up to me, and I can't remember who it was on Twitter. Did you know that Oculus Rift is releasing a new headset that is an all-in-one?
Yeah, the Quest, right?
The Quest.
Yeah, it's
I did not know this.
There's already a Quest out, I think.
Yeah, I think
but it wasn't
putting the Quest 2 out. Is
the Quest 2,
okay.
right? And it's
it's a standalone headset. You don't have to connect it to your computer.
Jay the Game Guru. You played with Edie. He bought the Quest, and he's played with it. And everything I've heard from him, like, it's good. It's fun. He'll go outside in his back alley and he'll just put it on, and he has all the room in the world to like play it. But it has a limited catalog.
And someone, AC Ray says, someone mentioned the Quest last week too.
At this point, you could say anything was mentioned last week, and we just agree with you.
But yeah, I have heard
rebooting.
That, like, the Quest
press any key to start.
However, the storefront for the Quest is different than the storefront for the Oculus. Like, it's a different set of things available.
Yep.
So
And the Oculus, I think, is going to be tied to Facebook, but the Quest isn't.
I thought they all were. I thought you need a Facebook account to play any Oculus thing.
Yeah, you do, because Facebook
Maybe.
owns Oculus.
Fair. I'm not too sure about the Quest. I would rather just get a different one. I do not want an Oculus.
Really? Which one would you want?
There's the HD Vi, I think. That's one. Just pretty much not Oculus. I would have to look in and do my research, but
Yeah.
I do not like the idea that Facebook has locked down Oculus that way.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You're probably right.
I mean, if you want a super simple, cheapy VR thing, there's always Google Cardboard.
Yes, Google Cardboard is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Any other items?
Yes. Before I get into the one of the bigger controversies of the week, there's something I found out. Konami, they are putting out a bunch of old Metal Gear games onto GOG, but this week they announced that they're also releasing Silent Hill 4: The Room to GOG, which is cool because there's really no other way you can get that game. It's not available on any of the Xbox backwards compatible storefront. It's not available on any PS2 on PS4 things. Like, you cannot buy that game in any modern capacity. So the fact that it's coming out on GOG is really cool because that is a personal favorite for me. I think that game is really unique in how disturbing and how its visuals and how its story all worked out. And I'm glad to see something so kind of uniquely old come out in a modern capacity. Like, it's not remastered in any way. It's just that old game. But I'm glad that old game is going to be available for purchase and playable in some sort of modern capacity. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's an underrated gem of a game. And that's kind of what GOG always specialized in the past, is bringing those underrated gem of games to modern players.
All right. So anything? Well, you talked about something that was a
bigger controversy.
Big controversy. Okay, bring it.
So, Miles Morales is the new Spider-Man game coming out on PlayStation 5. There's a special edition of Miles Morales. One of the things included in that special edition is a remastered version of Spider-Man. Now, for the sake of this conversation, the Miles Morales game, I'm just going to call Miles Morales, and the Spider-Man game on PlayStation 4, I'm just going to call Spider-Man for simplicity. So in the past, there has been confusion about this because apparently there's no way to get Spider-Man on PS5 other than through this Miles Morales package. Sony has not clarified in any way if you can buy it separately or if it's going to be a free upgrade I have Spider-Man on PS4. Can I get the remaster of things for free? No indication of it in any sort of way. So that's been frustrating for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the bigger controversies of the last week is that Insomniac put out some video of Spider-Man Remastered. And people were surprised to see that they changed Peter Parker's face pretty significantly. It's a very clearly different actor. And a lot of people were like, the first thing they noticed is that this new actor looks suspiciously more like Tom Holland than the old actor does. And so they're like, people are wondering, did you change this just to kind of make it more in line with the MCU? Insomniac has said that because of the new power of the PS5, they wanted to get a new face for Peter Parker that, I don't know, somehow takes a better advantage of the new power of the PlayStation 5. It doesn't really look like that. And also, no other character in the game has a new face. It's just Peter Parker.
Oh, really? It's just Peter Parker.
Just Peter
So,
Parker.
I've heard it like considered like the great value Tom Holland. Like that's
Discount.
what the character looks
Discount,
like.
yeah, discount Tom Holland.
Discount
see-
Tom Holland.
The reasoning that I read was just they wanted a character that matched the voice actor's voice better. Like that was the whole point of it. It wasn't for obviously they upgraded all the textures of the characters, but they really changed it to match the voice. But having played Spider-Man, it was fine. Like
Yeah,
it feels
right?
like a cheap excuse.
At no point was I playing that game thinking, oh man, this voice really doesn't match the character.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember one of the things people praised about the game originally is that people liked that iteration of Spider-Man.
Mhm.
People were like, hey, this is a really cool Peter Parker and a really cool Spider-Man.
Yeah, now I think there was background stuff that changed it. Like Sony got involved. That'd be my guess. And they're just not allowed
Yeah.
to say that because it doesn't look good.
I
But
think
I
what
don't
also
think-
weirds people out is that the new version, the new face on PS5 looked significantly younger in a way that's just kind of weird.
Mhm.
Especially because this iteration of Peter Parker is supposed to be an older version. Like he's been doing Spider-Man for 10 years. He's out of college. And he just doesn't look his age anymore. Although apparently his age is he's 23, which I didn't know that. He feels a lot older in the game.
Yeah, and Tom Holland, like I think he is actually 23, but he plays like a 16-year-old.
He's
That's
a
the whole
high
point.
schooler in the movies. He's supposed
Yeah.
to be like he's not supposed to look his age.
He looks
So-
young, and that's part of the reason why they, got him as
that's
the
like
actor.
why they cast him. And so it's like by trying to make Spider-Man look more like Tom Holland, you're aging the character down when your version of the character is supposed to be older.
Right.
It's all just a weird thing because you imagine that this wasn't easy to do. Like this probably took some sort of effort, and it's just why? Like that's the bigger question is like, oh, you remastered it for PS5. That's really cool. Why did you change his face? It just seems like a lot of extra effort to go into something really unnecessary.
Right.
Like that's the biggest confusion of it is like, why?
Yeah, and if their reasoning was literally just so the creative director Brian Inthar
Inahar?
Inahar
I think that's how you
responded to
pronounce
it saying that it took some time to come around for him to like get used to it, but for the visuals to match the voice of the actor Yuri Lowenthal was a
Yes.
necessity. Like he said it very specifically that it was a necessity to change the way the character looked and his reasoning to match the voice. It feels wrong. It feels like such a PR answer. Like we need an answer that isn't the truth. What do we
Yeah.
got?
Yeah. It's all dumb and stupid.
Yep. It's all dumb and stupid.
I
All right.
guess then
Anything
and
else?
slightly- yeah. And slightly less dumb and stupid, actually kind of, but in a different fun way. Fall Guys Season 2 launches tomorrow.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm excited
So
for
if you're
that.
looking forward to that. And it's gonna come with a double fame like week. I think.
That's cool. I also read something that they're gonna change the way they give out crowns, which is the currency that you normally get for winning, in
Mhm.
order to allow more people to get it. Because and one of the things they ended was like premium costumes for everyone, because some of those special tie-in costumes, like the Portal ones that I was really excited to get, you can only buy them with crowns, which means unless you are out there actively winning a bunch of games, you will never be able to get some of those cool crossover costumes, which is disappointing. Like,
Yeah.
but crossover
It'd be-
costumes for everyone. Give costumes to everyone.
It'd be cool if you made it through a level, you got a crown. And like you got more crown for each round you made it through.
Yeah, or at least like if you get to the final round and you get knocked off, you get a crown. right? And then if you win,
Right.
you get like extra ones. Like you can
Yeah.
costumes for everyone. Everyone should get cool costumes. So yeah, I'm looking forward. I didn't realize it was tomorrow. That's cool.
Yeah. That's the last thing I have.
All right.
Okay. Well, speaking of
My
free
bad.
things.
Thursday,
Oh, it's Thursday?
Oh, okay.
apparently.
Okay.
It might just be the Double Fame that launches tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Yep, October 8th.
Okay. Well, 2 days before that, on October 6th, yes, on October 6th, the PS Plus games for October are coming out, and they're both games I've been interested in trying. Need for Speed Payback and Vampire. I'm especially interested in Vampire because that seemed like a cool game. I know you played some of it, Edie, and you had some pretty positive things to say about it for what you did. And yeah, I'm totally into some of that.
Whoop. That was not where I meant to put that. Never mind. Oops.
Yeah, and Need for Speed Payback, I think that is the most recent Payback because I played just Need for Speed a while ago, and I was kind of disappointed by it. So I'm always looking for a good arcade racing game, and Need for Speed has not been good for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to at least being able to try out their newest version without paying any extra money for it.
Well, speaking about that, I don't have solid information here. There's been hints that they're going to have a large or huge Need for Speed announcement soon, and the rumor is that it's going to be Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered.
That's what I've heard.
Do it so much. Okay. I got the Xbox, and one of the things I have been most excited for is knowing that when I get that console, I can go dig out the Xbox 360 version of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit and put it in that console and play it. Specifically, that game and the SSX, like the most recent SSX. Both of those are only on 360. They're not really backwards compatible anywhere else. Or available to buy anywhere else. But knowing that I can get those two games and put that in the console and play it, yes, because those are two of the best games on that generation, and nothing else has come close to capturing the magic of those two games.
I don't know why I didn't play. Did I buy it? I don't even think I bought it.
What?
And I know that you loved it.
Which one?
And that's the Payback. I mean, Hot Pursuit.
Hot Pursuit is so good.
That's what you said, and I just ignored you.
I remember
Hot
long
Pursuit is an
time.
old game, though. I remember playing that when I was young.
Chris Salazar bought it, and I remember me and him, because the way the game works is when you highlight a level, it will show you your friends' times on it. So me and him, there was a particular mission where you had to take down a guy, and it was a one-on-one. You with the other guy trying to take him down, and me and him got into this fucking vicious cycle of trying to beat each other's times until, and I think I have the best one because I was able to do it in like 8 seconds, which was mind-blowing because it takes like 6 seconds just to speed up enough to catch up. And
Right.
I did something. I was just like the perfect mix of things to knock him out. I want to say that I have the top time. In my head, I do. It will crush my soul if I don't, and I will work very hard to beat that. But I have fucking Chris Salazar, other, former GameHounds host. If I don't have the top time in that mission, I will spend hours playing that over and over again, 8 seconds in a loop trying to beat him. That was a ton of fun.
So
I'm not the
right.
youngest guy in the room.
No,
That's
me.
Big Sexy.
No, yeah, Big Sexy's way younger than both of us.
I mean, I'm only 20. I'm 28, all right? That's not super young.
That's not.
You're not 28, are you?
I'm 28.
Oh my God.
I guess
have known you a
7
really long time.
7 years
Mhm.
is
12
fairly
years.
significant.
Yeah, because you were not
Huh.
were you 18 when I met
16.
you? Yeah.
We didn't start hanging out till like I was 18, but yeah. Because I were on my friends list. I've probably said this story before for like 2 years before I started actually like asking you to play games because I thought you were some big podcaster and you probably got asked all the time. So I was just kind
not
of
a big podcaster. I just happen to be extremely nice.
Oh, AC Ray says that you are the one that said when you were young.
yeah, no. I mean, I remember Hot Pursuit from when I was young. Like,
Oh,
when you were 16.
actually,
it
yeah,
was
that would be that counts. That checks out, I think.
16 is young.
I mean,
Yeah.
When did it drop?
in my head, I was a youngin when that game came out.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know. When was the launch date for that? 2010. Yeah, I
10 years
was
ago.
18.
Yep.
Nice.
I think I was young when that came out.
What were you
So,
10 years ago?
25.
Yeah. Remember when I said when you were 25, like you would gain a whole different perspective on your world? You would not really believe how young you were when you look back at when you were 25. Now you get it. Now you know.
I guess, although I don't really
Y'all
feel
can
like I
do
have a whole different perspective. I feel like it's just the same thing that's been stretched out for 10 years.
Yeah, there is that. All right.
I would have
so
had these same fucking posters up in 20 when I was 25 if I had them.
yeah, well, I mean, let's face it, we're all kind of stunted.
We're
I think we're
young at
stunted by
heart.
video games.
We're young at heart.
Young
Edie.
at heart, young at
Yes.
heart is another way of saying kind of emotionally stunted.
No. Rude.
Sure.
I'm well into the final stages before retirement, and I still have not like progressed my mental way I
That's
think about
overrated.
myself past
I
like
think that is
my 20s.
overrated.
What
If
games, man?
being
You
in
just
a-
So
get-
much.
if
I missed
growing
middle
up-
age.
If growing up is throwing away video games, then I don't want to grow up.
Yeah, point.
I don't want to outgrow video games and comics and
Yeah.
superhero shit.
All right. Any other items?
Did I have
No?
one? Yeah, PS Plus. No.
Cool.
Randomly, the actress Alicia Vikander has said
Mhm.
that she will probably start making a new Tomb Raider next year,
Oh.
which I think is cool because that Tomb Raider movie was better than the older ones, and it was
Yeah,
a genuinely
bad.
fine movie. It didn't do very well at the box office, but it was a good movie, and it deserved. It is in the canon of video game based movies. It is in the upper spectrum.
which is a low bar.
That's a
It
very
was- it
mighty
was-
low bar, but it is a bar.
It was better than the Assassin's Creed movie.
A lot of things
So.
were better than Assassin's Creed.
Wow.
My last bowel movement was better than the and certainly more satisfying.
Wow.
I got a lot more out of that than the Assassin's Creed movie. EC Ray says they used to say getting older made people more conservative. The opposite has become true. Old
Yeah,
age
that's-
assumptions mean nothing. Yep.
That's definitely true with me. I have gone way more in the other direction.
I was a lot more conservative when I was young. All right. So, anything else before we close out the show, gentlemen? No? All right. Then let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds episode 565. We recorded this on Sunday, October 4th, 2020. I've been Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick DiNicola and Big Sexy Andrew Smith.
Yeah.
Hey,
If you ever wanna-
lower your voice. Do it deeper.
My voice doesn't go lower.
Yeah, that is his voice. So if you ever want to get a hold of, well, first off, we record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. That's Speaker with an R, Spreaker.com. You can join us live for the audio show. You can also join us live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. You can watch us do the show on YouTube. It is at GameHounds Vids, VIDS. It is on Twitch as The Gamehounds, and it is also on Facebook as The Gamehounds. Check us out 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker, YouTube, Facebook, Switch, and I forget what the first one is. Anyway, if you ever want to get a hold of us, gamehounds.net is our email, is our website, and gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. If you listen to us as a download, you can download or stream us on Spreaker. You can download us off of iTunes, iHeartRadio. I believe we are also on Alexa and Google devices. If you actually say play GameHounds podcast, I'm not certain of that, but I believe that's the fact. But if you do listen to us at any of those places, please leave us feedback. It helps us. It helps others. It helps grow our podcast. And if you are watching this on YouTube or Twitch or anything, first off, if you're watching on YouTube, like this episode, go ahead and hit a thumbs up button. We get maybe 2 thumbs up buttons, and I know we have more people that are watching it. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. All 3 of those have to happen. And if you do 2 of them already previously, then just hit the like button. That's all we need. So Nick, Big Sexy, thanks for being on the show this week.
Always.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Be safe. Take care of yourself. Wear your masks, and don't be a dick. Have a good one. Bye.
Peace.
And we are out on the regular, on the audio. The video is still going. All right, everybody. Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. Patreon, $1 a week is all we ask. Patreon.com/GameHounds. $1 a week. It helps pay for this right here. All of this right around you. That's what it pays for. It pays for Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. And the video, it offsets those costs. So thank you very much to all of our patrons who are there. Thank you. And also, if you would like to join, $1 a month. It just takes 28 of you, and it covers the cost of StreamYard to do this. So, Nick, I'm gonna go.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
Bye, Nick.
We've had a good show, and as I said before, make sure to like this episode because it does help the YouTube. They pay attention to these things, like little things like likes. It does make a difference.
Yeah.
I do want to say I think we should change our episode to 564 again. Just because apparently we brought up a lot of stuff from old episodes.
we did last week.
Yeah.
That's how challenged we were with finding news this week. There was not so much news got just like pulled out of the woodwork in the last 2 weeks. And then we hit the doldrums of just not a lot. $6 a month still sponsors poor, needy children like Andrew. Yeah.
You know what? At this point, I'll take it. Just go on. Yes.
$6 a month. Yeah. It keeps him fed and clean. It buys him new food and medicine.
Look at those walls. Those walls are just completely bare. He's just living in an empty box. That's all.
$6 a month, and then when we will buy something to put on his walls behind him, we will buy him a green screen and put him wherever you want him.
One of our stretch goals is we'll buy stuff to throw on my wall. And it'll be community chosen.
Right.
Ooh, yeah.
Community chosen, just like anything up there. And we're not afraid of demonetization because we don't have any monetization. So for right now, you could literally put up anything. You could make that a porn wall.
This is getting dangerous, but I will do it.
Awesome.
I will move around so that I have more of a white wall to put stuff up on. And yes, I'll even light it, give it professional lighting.
Oh,
I don't know if the text voicemail line still works. What's this 209-730-3818? I don't know that that's our line.
It's Corey's line. He just
Wow,
wants
chicken
people
llama.
to text him.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Yeah,
Also,
go ahead.
AC Ray specifically mentioned that he has 564 bookmarked because that's when I guess we speculated on Bethesda's release order.
Oh,
So whenever that comes out, he will pull that up.
Oh, fuck. I love you, AC Wraith. You
That's
are
good.
like the better half of me to remember this shit. Thank you for doing that.
You're
Because
the backbone.
you are the backbone of this show, dude.
I almost remember what I said. I think I said like 6 years for Elder Scrolls. Isn't that it?
Yeah.
Like Starfield comes out in like maybe 2-3 years, and then Elder Scrolls is like 6 years away.
Yep.
I think I said something like that.
So that text line was apparently Gully's line. I thought it was.
Oh, he has it in his address book.
Yeah. I doesn't
I thought he
seem
shut
like
that
the
down.
right number, but I think it was shut down. So if you text it, you might be texting some stranger.
Which, that could
Very
be fun too.
unfortunate stranger. All right. Have a good night, good weekend, Nick and Big Sexy.
There you go.
So apparently he's talking about like things that AC Wraith reminds me of is that I said that I would never call you that, and here I am now, calling you
Oh
that.
yeah, I saw that in the chat. He said that like his first episode, you refused to call him Big Sexy.
It's a good nickname.
It is a good nickname.
However, when I lost
I contain
weight,
multitudes. I lie. Sometimes I lie. I contain multitudes.
Every day is a different possibility.
Yep. Nick said Elder
Okay,
Scrolls
5
in
years.
5 years. Andrew said 3. What did I say, or did I? I think I was with Andrew. I think it's going to be sooner. They're not going to. As I recall, I said they are not going to let Bethesda sit on their laurels and not release a game for 10 years. Certainly a big ticket game like Elder
15
Scrolls.
I'll still stand by 5 years.
next year is literally 10 years.
Yeah, there's no way. You cannot release a game once every 10 years.
The
Not
fact that
from
they've
a
No,
big
they
IP
won't.
like
They
that.
won't. It will be every 15 years.
the fact that they've re-released Skyrim so many times is the only reason it has kept it relevant. That and mods.
And
If
now
you-
they have
if
a
you put
whole
out-
new set of consoles to re-release it on.
Right, but if you put out an Elder Scrolls game once every 10 to 15
I feel like
years,
we said this last week.
realistically, I know we're going back into this argument, but realistically, if you think about the lifespan of a gamer, if you release an Elder Scrolls once every 15 years, you are going to have to rebuild the base for Elder Scrolls every single time you release a game. That if the first time you play it, the first time you play an Elder Scrolls is when you were 15 or 16 years old. The next time you play it, you will be 30. The next time after that, you will be 45 years old.
Yeah, and you'll have like, and you'll be like,
will have
oh shit, it's new Elder Scrolls. I remember loving that as a 15-year-old.
right.
It's gonna be great.
No, a lot of people will be dropping off because the older you get, there is, you have a certain amount of people at age 15 who are playing video games. That number goes down every year. Not everybody that was playing a game at 15 is like us.
True, but I also feel like the generation below us, everyone plays more and more. Like that number for each generation I think that downward slope is flattening out with every future generation.
I think that it is flattening out, but at the same time, you're going to have to sell Elder Scrolls to all the people who didn't play it before. That's the problem. Whereas if you put out an Elder Scrolls every 5 years, you don't have to rebuild the new buyer base because everybody played 5 years ago is probably going to play it again.
I do want to point out that Elder Scrolls 4 came out in 2006. I just looked this up. And Elder Scrolls 5 came out in 2011. That was a 5-year gap, and we've already doubled that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Right. Exactly. It's going to be going back to what it was, not what this generation was. It's been 10 years since Skyrim?
2011. I remember it because it was 11/11/11 that it came out.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, the reason
Yes.
the reason it doesn't feel that long is because I think
We
Skyrim
played
got
it for
released.
so long. When you
Also,
put
Skyrim
500
was
hours
released
into a
just
game,
last year.
that's right.
Yeah, no, it's been released so much, it's a meme now.
Yeah,
Alexa can play Skyrim. Like,
true.
Bitters
And I
is
guess,
Team Edie on this one. Bitters is Team Edie.
I
See,
guess,
now you have to
Coy Wallace-
bookmark this episode too.
No, the last episode is just fine. But I guess Coy Wallace said there's an ESO event, Halloween event, starting on the 10th. I'll jump onto ESO.
No, on the
with
22nd.
that.
Starting on the
Oh.
22nd.
I guess. Okay,
You
let
said
me restate.
coming up quick 10-1022.
10/22,
Okay.
October 22nd.
Yeah.
I
I'll
do
give in
not.
for that. If I can get a cool Halloween costume out of that, I'll love that. If I can run around with my like Christmas colored boob window with like a pumpkin head, oh yeah.
Have you seen Nick's character? Do we have any video? Corey, do you have any video posted anywhere of
I don't
Nick's
think I have.
outfit?
I took a picture of it.
I know, but well, if you could bring up that picture on your computer, then I will share.
I
your
don't.
screen.
I don't think I have.
I don't think I
anything of it.
have it in a way that we could share it. It is utterly ludicrous. Nick actually bought a costume. Granted, he bought it with coins that he got for playing the game, like the initial first taste is free money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is so wrong.
Well, it's not just the
so
costume,
wrong.
but I colored it with the gaudiest, like bright red, green Christmas colors.
Oh yeah, no. It was like
I can get a pumpkin head. Okay, I'm hopping on. Fuck that.
I have
I'll be
heard-
there. I'll be there.
I just want to point out that I often forget that Elder Scrolls Online came out. Like, that's a game. Like, you guys talk about it a lot, but I do not consider it a mainline Elder Scrolls title, so I never really consider it. Like,
I think
Yes.
that's probably more than what Bethesda is going to do is they're going to have like their long-term games and then they're going to have other things in the canon like Star Wars. The Star Wars universe is more than just Star Wars movies. It's Clone Wars and all these other things that are kind of playing into the canon. And I think that if they're smart, that's what they will do is they will have these games that come out every 5 to 7 years, but then also all these ancillary games that kind of work within that universe.
Elder Scrolls Online, and then you have Fallout 76, which I think was supposed to be the Fallout universe's online game.
Right, and it was terrible. And there's Fallout 76 and then also Fallout Shelter, which is the mobile game. And is there an Elder Scrolls mobile game? Elder Scrolls Blades,
Yeah,
right.
Blades. It was,
right.
It was
so
neat.
you're going to have these things that play into the canon, but they're not going to be able to do 15 years between a game. It just
I'd be surprised. I would be surprised if they come out next year or the year after Elder Scrolls 6 is releasing. And they like to do it.
Starfield has
they're
to
crunching
come first.
hard.
Starfield has to come first.
Yeah, I think you're right. Starfield will come first, but then Elder Scrolls is going to have to be very shortly afterwards.
Well, they do like to release their hey, this is coming out in 3 months.
Yeah, they're
absolutely
going to put the screws to everybody at Bethesda. There's no more of this lollygagging long lunches and everybody sitting around the water cooler talking about shit. Nope. Everybody's working 10-hour days.
There's a level designer at Bethesda, and he's just like, "Yeah, I might take lunch 2 hours every day because I work at
Bethesda. I only put out a game every 15 years.
I'm supposed to be designing stuff for Elder Scrolls, but fuck it, I'm gonna go get another pizza."
That's right.
We're just gonna release Skyrim again. We have time.
Yeah. The Skyrim people.
Coffee break, lunch. Bethesda coder, me wanna go home.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? I was going to look up. Oh, Nick's picture. Yeah, we can't find it. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think I have a picture.
Time to go. I'll bring it next week.
Yeah.
I've got it saved.
I'll jump on ESO somewhere and take a screenshot of it. And I've got a screenshot.
I've got screenshots of it. In fact, it might even be on Twitch, on our Twitch stream of stuff that we played.
Oh, it probably is. But
I think we should just leave it up as Nick's. Since Nick's camera's so bad, we'll just put that up for him while he's talking. So that's his character for the
Just replace. Oh, we could do that. That
If
that
my
would be all
camera's
right.
bad next week, I'm for that.
Yeah.
just log on and stream and have the character like in real time. Like it's just your stream of your face of the character. So you can
Yep.
walk around while talking.
We could do it. We could definitely do it. I'm trying to see if I can find. No, I can't get to our videos. It's only bringing me to the live show. All right. See y'all later, guys.
Take
Yep.
it easy.
Have a great
Later.
and please, everyone in the chat room, please take care of yourself and don't forget. Once again, I say it every single time, and I super duper mean it. Patreon.com. Please, tiny little bit of money is all we're asking to help pay for subsidize the show because it makes a difference. And of course, twitch.tv/the GameHounds, youtube.com/the GameHounds. Don't forget to like this episode. Seriously, it's important. Have a great night. Take care. Bye, everyone.